Hey y'all, it's your captain for all things creative coming at you with Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 Reunion Part 2. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're returning, thank you so much for rocking with us, and let's get into the reunion. And I just want to say I watched the uncut version on Peacock, so it might be different if you watched it on Bravo, but I'm basically going on the major points, so it should be okay if you just watch the one on Bravo, but no, I'm going off what I saw on Peacock. So you see, this part continues where the first part left off on, where everyone's trying to talk about Mia's paternity drama, but Mia said she did an IUI, which is intrauterine insemination, so she knows exactly whose sperm, fertilized her egg, and it was Gordon's sperm, so she knows Gordon is the father. But she does say that Ink still thinks that Jeremiah is his son just because of the timing of the affair, and maybe because he wants to believe that, he's tied to Mia and Jeremiah that way. And then Karen uses her grand class and power to just squash all that talk and basically say that, listen, this is kids. They have to see this, so let's not talk about this. And even Andy was like, okay, fine, we'll move on. So then they explain how Karen called me a hoe, and then they tried to accuse me of not being transparent enough, but she doubles down that she was transparent. They did have receipts about her talking about her divorce and spilling her tea in the salt cave with Robin. She then proceeds to continue to be fully transparent about her finances and Gordon overspending. And she does say that the reason why she did have an inheritance because when she met Gordon, 3 of her grandparents died at about the same time frame, so she did get her hands on some money that way. Then there's a quick moment where Wendy versus Mia kind of happens when Mia tries to say that Candace and Wendy weren't there for her when all her, divorce drama and drama with Gordon was happening. And Candace just admits that, she didn't call Mia mostly because she was uncomfortable. And then Wendy explained that actually she did have Mia's back in her own way because she says that even though she and Mia weren't in the blessed place, when Gordon spilled the worst tea about her and said some very horrible things, she didn't go and repeat it to the press or anybody. So she's basically explained to me that she did respect and protect her in her own way. And Mia even acknowledges that as valid, So then they take a break, and Jazelle's segment starts. So after like a 5-minute biological break for them to use the bathroom and whatnot, Jazelle, I guess, has a moment where they humanize her. And again, I feel like these producers are protecting her a lot, because she has done a lot of mess, but she did go through a lot this season, right? So they show her package with Grace going to college and her dad, battling cancer. And even though she had this great chance to just like have everybody feel for her, because, if you lose a parent, and even Mia as a parent watching her kid go off to college, I was all emotional, I was ready to cry. But Jazelle starts her, unpacking of her segment by just fighting with Wendy, going after her, She says that how Wendy lied about Jazelle, talking about her mother while her mother was in the hospital. And Wendy was like, no, that wasn't a lie, because Jazelle called her mother evil and said she had talked to Jamal. And Jamal said that the shrine stuff is nothing to play with, which is true. And of course, production didn't bring up those receipts, but Jazelle maintains that, well, she didn't know that Wendy's mother was in the hospital, so Wendy wasn't lying. But again, both things can be true. You may not have known that Wendy's mom was in the hospital, but you for sure was saying all kind of stuff about Wendy's mom being evil and Wendy being evil. So they were in a beef, so that's why Wendy wasn't, reaching out to Jazelle. Next, they talk about Jazelle's father passing. And then I got teary again, because then you saw, Jazelle being human and saying her father was the one that encouraged her to sign up for the show and that she really loved him. And anybody losing a parent, it's not easy. And Candace got teary because, loss, even if it's someone else's loss, can bring up your own grief about things. And then Candace had that cancer scare, which she did talk about this reunion, to just hearing about Giselle's dad losing his bout to cancer, of course, will make her emotional. But of course, Jazelle is going to use this chance to be evil again. Even while they're trying to humanize her, she makes a dig at Candace about crying, even when stuff is not about her. And then Mia stands up for Candace and is like, listen, Candace cries when the wind blows. She's just an emotional person. And here's when I see that Jazelle really doesn't understand how empathy works, like Erica Jane. So then they talk about Giselle's fake relationship with Jason from Winter House or Summer House or whatnot. But everybody knows it's fake. And then Andy brings up him, having pictures of him kissing some other blonde lady. And she said, yeah, he called her before the pictures came out. So they both know it's fake. Next, we see production do Wendy dirty by not having any receipts about this argument between Jazelle and Robin and Candace and Wendy about who made faces about Giselle's daughters, right? And Wendy says she actually told Jazelle, lots of good things about her daughter and was supportive of her going to college and was even asking if the daughter would pledge AKA. So Jazelle is lying that Wendy had any, bad feelings about her daughter. And Jazelle was saying that, no, that never happened. Wendy didn't say anything. But Candace was saying, yes, it did happen. And, of course, production doesn't have that receipt. And I just think that it's so funny. They have every footage of Candace and Wendy doing nothing. They even had the footage of their faces at the dinner, which were just like regular faces, But they didn't have whole conversations of Wendy during the day. That's so irresponsible. So this producer, who was fired, I think his name was Eric Fuller, whatever, I think he took the fall for all the shenanigans with production that was going on this season. But it's a bigger machine that's protecting Jazelle, because there's no way they shouldn't have this footage. But then after this, there were a couple of points that were made concerning colorism that really annoyed me. So I'm gonna summarize the rest of the reunion because I just kind of have like a rage fog about it all. So there's a break after, I guess, the Jazelle segment, I think, where you see NECA have a brief moment backstage of acting like she wasn't able to pop off like she wanted to on social media, since she thought that the reunion was her time to say her piece. But nobody was letting her speak, according to her. And all I was thinking is that, NECA made herself so unlikable, going after Wendy, that even Andy and the other housewives that she tried to impress didn't care about what she had to say. Like, when it was the lawyer question, even Andy asked Wendy, last time. So it's just clear that NECA did not make a good impression that she thought she was making. But let's talk about this colorism thing real quick. So there is this running idea that colorism is like the invisible cast member of this show. And they have another debate that sparks when they're talking about Robin and Candace's breakdown of their friendship. So Robin had apparently been texted by Candace right after reunion. This is part of why Candace, I guess, was so confused about them not being friends at the beginning of the season. Because I guess Robin posted a picture with long hair. And then Candace says she was complimentary about it. And Robin's like, no, you said, okay, long hair. And Candace is like, whatever, I texted you. And then Robin sent a passive-aggressive text back to Candace saying that, well, I guess I look more white adjacent now, which is in response to what Candace was saying at the reunion about, Jazelle being white adjacent, right? Then again, to another debate about colorism, and Wendy was correct in saying that none of them have the range to have a real conversation about colorism, since, again, Candace, she's been double-minded and lukewarm about it, because even when they talked about it last year a little more deeply, she prefaced her colorism comments by saying that she doesn't think anyone on the cast is colorist, but then she went about calling Jazelle, white adjacent, using Karen tactics, and in a nutshell. So Robin also was using Karen tactics at this reunion when she just started crying about just Candace having a colorism conversation, even though Candace didn't really bring up Robin in the way that she brought up Jazelle. And Robin, was crying, saying she felt personally attacked by Candace's comments since she was never accused of being colorist. And she said, she's had fights with Robin and Karen, who are, also light-skinned, but the thing is she made up with them. And that's what Candace's point was. She was like, if you think what I did was enough to end our friendship, when, Karen is like horrible to her all the time. And Ashley, and her literally fought down to her, kangaroo meat restaurant. Then, Candace proved her point there. But the thing is, she still wants to be friends with those girls, which is why her addressing colorism with them doesn't land, because she kind of protects them as she accuses them at the same time. And then and actually Robin's reaction reminded me of Chelsea on Love is Blind, who's crying about being uncomfy, because Robin basically said the same thing. She said she was uncomfortable by the whole situation of, Candace talking about colorism and accusing people of being colorist, even though Wendy again brings it up that Candace said she didn't think anybody was colorist. Candace then goes and apologizes to the Green-Eyed Bandits about making them uncomfortable, since Candace says she was used to talking about race all the time with her people. So she thought that the ladies of the cast would have the same comfort level, but she was wrong. And all I thought was, why are you apologizing? And again, this is why the Green-Eyed Bandits run circles around everyone in the cast and production, because as wrong as they are sometimes, they stand 10 toes down on all their nonsense. But then Wendy moves too politically, and she, does know more than all of them. So she's calculating about her image, and I think she doesn't want to come off condescending. Even though where she's basically saying that y'all don't have the range to talk about this, it is condescending, but she's trying to just steer them away from it, because again, they don't know how to do it well. And then Candace again wants to be accepted by these Green-Eyed Bandits, so she alternates between cussing them out and kissing their ass. So it's good that she's going away, since she had proof that they have double standards again when she was crying, and then Ashley was also crying about, Jazelle's dad, but, Jazelle went after her and saying she was trying to make the moment about her when that wasn't even true. When, she had no reason to attack Candace then. It's like they're very negative towards Candace and Wendy. So even if they don't want to call it colorism, Candace has ample proof that they have double standards, with her and Wendy versus like Ashley and, even Karen. So again, that segment annoyed me. So let's get to the last part that I cared about. This was the husbands coming on. So again, Gordon, since like the finale, he has carried. So he's one of the MVPs of the section, but Chris is also MVP. And Chris is, carrying the reunion started first, and Gordon's happened, last. So you see the men, about to come onto the stage. And of course, everybody loves Ray. They greet him and hug him, even Jazelle. Because Jazelle says, Karen been there for her. And that they're friends. Also, Eddie looked nice. And he was like kind of a non-factor, since even when he tried to comfort Nneka backstage when she was complaining about not being heard, she kind of displays her bad feelings onto him. And she talks to him crazy in general. She told him to go where Juan Dixon was at, which was nowhere. So Chris carried the reunion for me when he got out there and got Andy and the Green-Eyed Bandits together, when they were being hypocritical about not acknowledging Candace's feelings, when Jazelle made a whole plot line about her feelings towards Chris. So he was like, just like how, you wanted to feel how you felt, let Candace feel how she feels about you, Jazelle, because that's her feelings and that's it. And they had to be quiet about that. And then he also squashed it well when Robin tried to comfort him about the online women that claimed she had an affair with him on the Tasha K channel. And when Robin kept bringing up, the woman having them screenshots, and she's like, did she Photoshop the screenshots? I was like, Robin, you need to be quiet of all people, because there's this saying in my country that donkeys' ears are long, but they don't know their own story. And Robin is like that. She is the donkey that knows everything about everybody else. She knows about Wendy's husband, like an Instagram model pic. She knows about Chris allegedly sending these pictures to this woman. but she magically doesn't know how to read the credit card bills coming to her own house, showing her husband Juan paying for hotel rooms for other women. So I couldn't even take that segment seriously, and Robin looked so silly. Then last, Gordon ate twice during the reunion. First, when Andy was actually trying to embarrass Robin about Juan not being there, he asked all the husbands who were there to explain why it's important for them to show up for their wives. And most of them didn't want to answer because I guess they have a little loyalty to Juan. But then Gordon did the classy thing by outright calling a thing and just saying out loud that, listen, he doesn't intend to embarrass Juan, but he is there to support his wife Mia, even if she's about to be his ex-wife. Which again, it just shows Mia's power, because she got her husband and her boyfriend both supporting her at the same time, hyping her up, and Robin can't even get her husband to come. It's very sad. And then Gordon basically just takes the mic over from Andy at the end of part 2, and he shines like the star he is by making this long dramatic speech about, thanking everybody for letting him speak his side, and he knows that the fans and even the women on the cast might all be suspecting something about him. So he wants to clear the air about what they might be wondering but might not know. And I'm like, what is he about to say? And of course, Bravo's going to cut him off at this cliffhanger. And I was really curious about what he had to say, just based on how he said it. And it's so cool how him and Mia just really could have their own shows, as they have real drama that they're being, transparent about. They know how to pull people into their throuple adventures with all their shenanigans. So I will be watching next week to find out what Gordon is about to, reveal and spill. And I want y'all to take y'all guesses. I feel like Gordon might be sick or something, because he did say he had been fighting prostate cancer. I'm wondering why he's hanging on to Mia so desperately and trying to move across the street from her, even though she don't want him. I think he wants to spend as much time with his kids and have someone to semi take care of him in this last phase of his life, because he was crying and she was kind of tearing up like it's something serious like that. But I don't know, it could be something else. Y'all guess what Gordon's tea is, or if you know it, you could say in the comments. I don't mind a spoiler. But no matter what, just make sure to like and subscribe, and remember, you're the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Bye.